Okay, well, welcome today, and we're going to start on a new program. I'm going to divide this up into 4 parts, so it'll be 4 separate days. And this is going to be a talk about how to improve our lives. If you're new to this channel, my channel, welcome. We talk about things you will not hear about anywhere else, and I hope that you can benefit from it. Today's topic is going to be how to live a healthier life by either maintaining your cognitive ability or improving your cognitive ability and keeping it that way until the very end of your years. So my latest studies have been focused on the fact that science has reached a level of understanding that we never had before about how the brain cells, the nerve cells in our brain called neurons, function and live and survive. And the reason that's so important is the nerve cells in our brain are the only cells that we have in our entire body made up of all cells that don't really rejuvenate themselves. Now, let's just get drilled down to that for a minute, that we understand everywhere else in our body, when we go to sleep, our body repairs itself, just like a repair shop. But our nerve cells, it doesn't work that way. It works in a different fashion, and we'll discuss that later. There is a reason that I have made a very extensive study in this field, and it's because I've been going through a prolonged and stressful family crisis. This crisis has taken its toll on my body, and my heart is no longer able to function as it would normally. In fact, when I'm connected to an EKG machine, the doctors raise their eyebrows and it shows a remarkable condition. It's observable. It's an observable function of my non-functioning condition. In fact, I should not be alive today, but I am, and I'm talking to you, and I hope you can benefit from it. My left, just to give you a quick idea of what's going on, my left ventricle or mitral valve can no longer close like it should in the ventricle chamber, and so the blood can't be pumped to the next chamber and out into the body, and so that it can do the function that blood does for our body, bringing all the nutrients that we need. So when it can't be pumped out, it actually falls back down, and that's called regurgitation. So it's regurgitated back into the heart. But simply put, that means I'm drowning in my own blood. And at the last test, my heart was functioning at about 59% of what it should be functioning at. So I'm starving my brain of the life-giving oxygen that it needs to keep brain cells alive. One of the things that our blood does is carry oxygen to all of our cells, and that's what keeps us alive. And that's why if we hold our breath too long, or if we go underwater and don't come up, we can't survive. So there's some startling good news. And there is a new supplement that I've placed myself on as a subject of my own experiments and my own experimental trials. And I'll tell you about that supplement in a few minutes. But first, let me tell you that I am not now, or have I ever been paid for my endorsement of any experimental product. And no one is paying me today to talk about this. I'm hoping that it will benefit mankind. And so back to topic, most of what we have learned about today's intricacies of the brain and how it functions has been learned in the past 10 years. And most of those discoveries have been in the last 3 years. And what that means is that we're increasing our speed and our rate of acquiring knowledge at such a rapid rate that most of what we now know could not have been taught to students studying American medicine. And the typical American doctor goes through rigorous training, and he's in higher education school 7 or 8 years at least before he becomes a doctor. And how could he know the latest discoveries if they're not being printed or published in the books that he's using to study from? Of course. So the new emerging physician leaves medical school misinformed from day one of the latest discoveries. Now, let's examine that for a minute. If a student of medicine is learning from the books that are published, and it's 7 or 8 years for him to become a licensed doctor, it's quick to see that there's no way he could keep up. There just isn't enough time. So then how could a doctor prescribe the latest treatment and therapy that we now know? Impossible, of course. We know in medicine that our body contains its own manufacturing plant. Every night when we go to sleep, our body goes to work on itself. And this occurs in all parts of our body with the exception of the neurons in our brain. That is a different process. But the human body can and does reproduce most of what we are made of. We are made of millions of cells. However, our body can't reproduce brain cells. It's the only part. But not to worry, because we were born with more brain cells than we would need to even live a very, very long and healthy life. In fact, in just the last few years, we have learned that our human brain contains far more cells than we ever thought possible by a factor. That means many, many times more. So to put that into perspective, if I were to take a slice of a human brain after someone dies, we work on parts of the body, and we can take a human brain that weighs 1.5 kilograms and dissect it. We take a slice of that out, and we can see that if we took a slice the size of a quarter, in America we have coins for money, and the size of a quarter is very thin. I should have a quarter right here. Hang on, I'm going to get one. Okay, I'm back. So I got one. So this is what a quarter looks like, and you can see it's very thin. It is less than an 1/8 inch thick, and it's about 2.5 centimeters in diameter. There are more brain cells in a slice the size of this quarter than we ever thought possible in the entire human brain. That's how intricate our neuron electrical system in our brain is. It is the most fascinating machine on this planet, our human machine. So what happens when we age is that our neural pathways slowly start to reroute, because we can use different portions of our brain when our brain is asked to do certain functions. And so the brain is always changing as we get older. As we acquire more knowledge and have more wisdom, and we are trying to complete those thoughts, our brain is changing to keep up with that. So Unfortunately, there are many ways that we as humans damage our brain, and that's going to be left for another topic, but just I'll give you a brief synopsis of what's coming up. We can shorten our brain cells by improper diet. We can shorten the life of our brain and brain cells by using drugs or alcohol. But we now know from extensive research that has been done, and mostly in other parts of the world, that we can slow down many of the worst amounts of damage that is being done to our brain as we live longer and longer lifespans and years. The part of our brain called the dendrites that connects to the nerve cell body is the first place that gets damaged. I should have drawings, but today I'm not using drawings. But there is a product that is not recognized by traditional medicine yet. And if we look at the historical trends in traditional medicine, it follows the cycle of the 4 stages. And those 4 stages are as follows. A discovery is made. Then it is ridiculed and mocked. Finally, it is independently tested by a secondary testing, and then it is accepted as new medicine. And this has been going on for thousands of years. It is still the same. We haven't changed as a human species. But I am getting off track for a few minutes, and I'm going to tell you on the next part of my talk, which will be tomorrow, of a personal experience that ended up giving me a lot of education on this topic. Have a great day.